right now. So we've scheduled for an hour. These panel sessions have been going anywhere from half hour to 45 minutes. So however long it takes us to get through the conversation today is what we'll be here for. So I'll start by saying, to Ian and Andree and Bobbie and Cam, thank you so much for being willing to share your knowledge and your experiences with everybody. And yeah, hey gang.
I didn't have any choice. Abby told me I was doing it.
I got voluntold too.
Yeah, us too.
Oh, well, welcome to the party. And aren't you so glad you're here? Okay, so the first question that we kind of agreed to talk about was, how are you finding consumers responding to COVID right now? So for your listings, how do people feel about having people come through their house? And let's talk about kind of in the beginning, because I know we're going to talk about what you've done, what you've put into place, but let's go back maybe, 8 or 9 weeks. And how did you find the consumers responding to all this? Go ahead, anybody, really, just jump in.
We found with our listings in March and April, we were getting like 6, 8, 10 showings, and then boom, sold. And even in competition. And then our last listing, which was fairly recent, had over 50 showings. So it seemed like when Ontario opened up a little bit, or the GTA, kind of further than the GTA, but when they opened up a little bit, it seemed like we ended up with a ton more action. People just seemed to feel more confident going out, I suppose. But at the same time, it's still all the COVID procedures with the hand sanitizer and gloves and the mask and things like that. And
also, I found that every person was very individual. So some people were like, I want to go see properties anyways, I don't care. Mm-hmm. And some people were like, I'm okay to list, I don't care. And some people were like, I'll call you when we have a vaccine, right? So it was everywhere in between.
Yeah.
Cam, Ian?
Yeah, I would agree. Initially, a lot of hesitation and fear. There was so many unknowns that, yeah, everyone seemed very fearful. If buyers had the opportunity to wait, I found they really pulled back. Like people I was out showing homes with, once a week or twice a week, all of a sudden just dropped off the map. We're just going to wait it out. Sellers that had their home on the market, that had already bought, were very nervous because they have to sell. So a lot of fear around it. Agree with Bobbie that activity slowed down immensely. Obviously, we all saw that prices didn't go down, thankfully, but yeah, in the beginning, it was just a lot of unknowns, and with people that had to move forward, we were moving forward, and with people that wanted to wait, we were waiting just to find some more information.
Did you notice, Cam, in the very beginning, like with a few of our listings, we got real garbage offers, like they thought it was a fire sale or something. And then those listings would in turn still go in competition because there seemed to be like one bozo out there and 8 really qualified pen in hand buyers. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah, we had a home on Cavendish for $950, and I got an email from someone like, "Hey, would they entertain an offer around like $800?" And then we sold it for $935 in the end. So yeah, there was a couple people that thought it was a fire sale, but it just wasn't the reality.
Right.
Ian, I saw you nodding. You experienced that same kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we had 2 listings, about the third or fourth week into COVID, and we were getting silly offers on them, both, and both finished up selling in competition at list price or above list price. So, it's and the thing is that with a lot of the clients, a lot of it was just education as well, and just talking to them and just explaining what was going on and just telling people what the choices are. And actually, there's a couple of clients who just said now is a really good time to go on the market because we actually do have a shortage of supply, and who knows what the market will be in another 2 or 3 months. And guess what? I'm still saying that who knows what the market will be in 2 or 3 months because, as we heard yesterday from the insurance from the mortgage guy, that we probably it'll be a few months before we start seeing people not making mortgage payments, and What will that mean? Nobody knows. Nobody knows at this point in time. So, and it's not a matter of scaring. It's not a matter of scaring people. It's just the reality. I mean, over the 38 years I've been in business, I've heard so many predictions in real estate, and I've just learned you just shake your head and you just say they may be right, they may be wrong, but one thing for sure is they do not know. And it's the same situation again. I mean, to be honest, I was expecting us to be in a much more dire straits right now than we are, because I look back at 2017, what happened after the introduction of the overseas investors tax, and I was expecting a whole lot more of that, but thankfully it's gone a whole lot smoother with closings. You know, I mean, the banks have struggled a bit at times just with timing because they had to work remotely, but the bottom line is the banks have worked very, very hard to make it happen, and we had one or two that were delayed in closing, but thankfully we were able to work our way through it for those with the clients.
Nice
Just
job.
quickly on that point, Ian, I have heard a bunch of people say that a working theory seems to be, oh, in October, once all these mortgage deferrals run out, there's going to be a flood of inventory. Once COVID happened, I jumped on the phone, called my database. You know, out of 1,000 people, I probably talked to 5 that had been laid off. My guess is that the people that have been laid off may not have been in the home owning category. So I don't know if I believe that. Just kind of throwing that out for general discussion. Do other people think that this October flood of people that can't afford their home is going to happen? Is it just going to be normal? Any thoughts?
I think that we might see more than we would have non-COVID. When the guy from CMHC went online and said for the whole world to hear that he thought the market was going to decrease by up to 18%, I thought, wow, buddy, really have to watch your words, because that has a huge impact, and it makes people do things. It makes people fearful, or it makes people wait. It makes things happen, right? I spoke with a lot of different mortgage agents they're in the business of the money, right? And they're thinking that the market would come down maybe in the fall, but definitely not in the GTHA. Like I always quote the same numbers, but in Canada, 40% of Canada's net migration happens in the GTA. So the demand has been sitting there for a long time. There are a lot of buyers who've been waiting for the market to soften. So what is that going to do? That's just going to make the market hotter and faster when they all come out at the same time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there's so many sort of different angles. You know, like I've got a client, and he just listed his cottage up in the cottage country at 2.4 million, and he said, you know, it may take a year, it may take 2 years, and guess what? People were tripping over themselves to buy it, and I mean, and he said, I don't know what's going on. They don't know what's going on. He said, are people just decided, okay, we're not going to be traveling. We got money. Let's get ourselves a nice cottage at 2.4 million. It's not an entry level sort of cottage.
That's a nice cottage.
It is, and it isn't on one of the big lakes either. It's it's a good lake, but not one of the not on St. George or Stoker. So that's why I just keep saying you never ever know. What I do know is that right now, this is my litmus test. I just should say, okay, how many homes are currently for sale in Burlington right now today, which do not have any conditions on them? This is across all sections of real estate. And right now, I mean, earlier this week it was like about 325, 330. Well, if we have 600 homes for sale in Burlington like that, guess what? We're still short of inventory. So we've got to double. Even if we double our inventory right now of homes for sale in Burlington, we still will not have a lot of homes for sale. It will still be more of a seller's market than a buyer's market. So,
good point.
All we can do is work in the market we're in. And that's what Gary teaches us, right? We talked about that the other day in the Shift Book Club.
And the other thing is, one of the things that we need to do, I think, as realtors, is not compound the fear-mongering.
Amen.
Yeah, I agree totally, Andree. I know that in 1998, when the market in the States went south, and there was a politician who it failed at business, it failed at being a politician, yet he was an expert on real estate. And he stood on his podium and said, real estate is going to go down 25%, and he got an incredible press coverage, incredible. I had clients all over sort of saying that real estate's going down 25%, because the South in the States, they were really struggling. And I said to people exactly what I just said now. He may be right, he may be wrong, but one thing for sure, he does not know. And I said, and if he really believes this right now, because he lived up in Milton area, I said, he'll have his house on the market. I guarantee you, he doesn't have his house in the market, because because then he'll be able to buy it in a few months' time for 25% less and make a big profit. But, and he got it totally wrong. I mean, basically, that fear mongering slowed down the market for about a 5 to 6 month period. And then in 1999, we finished up having the strongest June ever because of the pent-up demand.
Wow. And that's what I mean, there are a lot of people are predicting is there's still a lot of pent-up demand, and we are low on inventory. So that's a great little economics section of this class that I wasn't really expecting. So that's amazing. Thank you guys all for chiming in on that. It's so neat to see from different perspectives, right? And I think that's neat. And what I'm really got from that is that Ian, even after how many years in real estate? Oh,
38.
38. So even after 38 years of real estate, you don't get a crystal ball. So I was really hoping like by year 30, mine would arrive in the mail and should be all shiny and I'd know everything.
I started too late to wait for 30.
Well, by the way, I do have a crystal ball, but it's cracked.
Oh no. All right, I guess they stopped making them then. Maybe that's the case. They're too fragile. So let's talk about how you guys are creating an experience. And I really want to go over the kind of 3 categories of our business, right? So listings, buyers, and leads. And we'll do them kind of separately. I want to know how each of you guys are creating right now a unique and an exceptional experience for your consumers that's also keeping them safe. I mean, I know you guys are all very personable people, and I would imagine a lot of your value proposition is the service you give. And a lot of that's probably usually done in person and you're in your togetherness with your people. So how now are you creating for your sellers exceptional experiences while keeping everybody safe? Cam, go ahead.
Yeah, I can start. I can't remember who said it at the beginning, Bobbie or Andree, but I think the biggest thing to remember is that everybody's different in this scenario. Like, for example, I've got a young couple that just moved here from the East Coast, and COVID is not a big thing in the East Coast. So they're kind of like, what's the big deal, right? So that's their perception. And then on the flip side, we've got 65-year-old sellers that I've never seen their face because they wear a mask every single time I'm there. So you gotta find out where people are at, and you gotta, yeah, there you go, Ian. And you gotta.
I'm in that age bracket, so
yeah. But yeah, you got to care for people where they're at, I think would be the number one thing. Standard stuff that we're doing on the safety front for sellers is we're giving them a care package of masks, gloves, hand sanitizer to be put in the home for any realtors and clients that come through. We've got the COVID disclosure through Broker Bay, which everybody's signing off on. In a couple of circumstances, and more actually at the very beginning, I was offering like a pre-listing clean, post-sale clean, that kind of thing. People were nervous about all these people coming through their home. So that's something that we could do. So those are all the safety things. On the service end, again, in the beginning, and actually still now, just to make it easy, we were offering people pre-inspections. So, hey, let's just get a pre-inspection done. We can give it to the buyers. It gives them more confidence in the home. And it actually worked. The one we sold right at the beginning, they didn't do an inspection. I'm looking at an offer right now that they've waived their inspection. So I think that's good. Stagers shut down their business. They weren't allowed to operate. So we just started buying staging stuff. And my assistant Fran's been doing the staging because I still want to stage properties. And then what did I write here? Oh, virtual documents, not paper. So I'm usually not going over with paper and pen for them to handle. It's usually all virtual.
Yeah, excellent. Ian, what about you? How is Bright Realty creating excellent service and keeping everybody safe right now?
No idea. Sorry.
What's up?
Tanya, quick.
Yeah. That's why I have administrators. They look after all that. No, we just very much a lot of what Cam has said. One of our listings, if at all possible, we open up, close up, so that agents don't have to touch anything. So that's the only thing I really added from what Cam said. But Cam covered the gamut there very well, I think.
Awesome. We should have had Cam go last.
I forgot to add, we're doing half-hour showings and no doubling up either. But I don't know if that's just standard now.
That's no doubling up is an office, like but between our two offices, it's a policy we have right now. Yeah.
Can I add to that for a second? The half-hour showings is a brilliant idea, except when you're showing as a buyer's rep, you've got 5 houses to show. Holy mackerel, that's tough. Like,
yeah.
Like really, really, like you're trying to add the commute time in, because we always leave that overlap so that we're never late. But now you're adding the commute time in, and God forbid something happens, and now it's like such a domino effect so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
especially if somebody has to take a little one to pee.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're like mom and dad are in their car with the little ones.
Yeah.
Mom goes to see the house now, and dad is in the car. Then dad goes to see the house and mom's in the car, right? So it makes it a little bit more challenging, doable, but challenging.
So speaking of you two, Bobbie and Andree, how are you guys, what are you doing differently right now that to create really great service and keep people safe?
We miss each other a lot.
I bet.
It's so weird, like it's so weird not being together to bounce ideas off of each other. So I'm super, super grateful for Zoom. We're doing all of our documentation and our listing presentations and things like that, mostly online. But again, further to Cam's point, like what Ben Donder, when we were talking, is that it is really a different comfort level for different people. Some people are fine to still sit at a far long table and do the presentation with you, and that's important for them. So as long as we're doing everything safely, like with all the safety precautions, the mask, gloves, whatever, as long as we're taking care like that of each other, then we're still doing things in person when we can. But at the same time, I didn't see our one listing until I went and showed it myself. I hadn't seen it since Christmas, but we were doing staging consults via WhatsApp, via Zoom. Some people, it makes it a little rocky on their stomach, but we're just doing what we need to do in their comfort level, our client's comfort level.
Excellent. Andree, anything to add? She covered
it's I mean, what everyone has been saying, right? It's really all about who you're servicing and about your personal situation too, right? So what are you comfortable doing? Because I know a lot of agents are just staying at home right now, not doing a whole lot, right? So what are you as an individual prepared to do for your own sanity and your own pocketbook and your own safety, right? So, I have a list, we have a listing coming up, and she's a nurse. She's a nurse in a hospital, and I'm over at their place, and she doesn't care about 6 feet. She doesn't care about masks because she feels like she's got a handle on it. I'm like, hold on, like 6 feet, girl, 6 feet. Where's my hockey stick?
Yeah.
Right.
You have to honor yourself while you honor your client, right?
Yeah. So that was my other point, is you have to make sure that you're comfortable. It's not just about what your clients are after. We have kids, elderly parents, whatever your scenario is, you need to make sure you're taking care of you as well.
For sure, in the beginning, my anxiety level, I didn't know I had anxiety, but wow, did I, like for the first couple of weeks. And then once we kind of all figured things out collectively a little bit, I just got a little bit more comfortable. But also it's about setting the expectation when you're showing houses, like this is exactly how it's going to work. I'm going to go to the door. I'm going to unlock the door. I'm going to open the door. I'm going to take my shoes off. I'm going to walk well in. Then you come in behind me. Don't touch anything. Take your shoes off. come in the house, I'll shut the door behind you. Like, it really is that entire step-by-step procedure so that everybody knows what to expect next.
Yeah. So on that note, sorry.
I was just going to say the other thing I'd like to add is I feel like I'm a massage therapist. You know, when you go to a massage therapist and they have a little pouch on their belt with the little oil, that's how I am with hand sanitizer. So, you know, I sanitize people going in, I sanitize them going out.
Great drama, girl.
That's excellent. So on Bobbie's note, talking about setting those expectations with buyers, let's go to that kind of category of your business. What are you doing with your buyers to create great service and keeping people safe? Because that's a different world, right? You're in a listing, you're not in that house every day. You're showing buyers. How are you managing your time differently because of those 30-minute appointments, all that. Let's start with Ian on that one.
Oh, you've got me. I just do it. I just do it. I mean, Andree said it so well. She does it a couple of times. Everybody's so different. You know, like I've got a young couple, they haven't been out to look at a house since this took place. And then I've got other people that are out there like dirty shirts, just looking at stuff. So I'm there with them, and we just taking all the normal precautions that we have to take, which is new, obviously. And I think we just got to realize we're going into a new world in so many ways, and the way we deal with our clients is going to be very different. It's the key thing is communication, so that you're on the same page and understand each other, and also you got to set the rules and regulations. Just tell people. I'll probably just learn from you, Bobbie, of how to be very, very clear and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. Now you do this and do that, because I'm a very relaxed person, and so.
Well, they turn around and they're right in your face. Like, whoa, I got.
Awesome. So, Bobbie and Andree, let's come back to you guys. I know, Bobbie, you mentioned a couple things about how you're managing and dealing with your buyers right now. What else do you have to say about that?
The one, and again, everybody's different. Every buyer is different. But we were shopping pre-COVID, so I got a really good feel of what they wanted. And then when I'm looking at what they want to go see, I'm like, put the brakes on. Like, this is not for you. This is exactly what you don't want. And the virtual tours, so being able to Zoom and compare things and really hone in on things through Zoom. So they're like, oh yeah, you're right. My fish tank won't fit there, or doing a Google Earth and looking like, do you really want to back onto the gas station? Is this, and it's just using all the tools that other realtors are leaving for us to use, like the virtual tours and the photographs and like hi Google Earth, right? Like Street View, and just really paying more attention to doing our homework as buyers, as opposed to just running around kicking tires. And we don't have an open house to not disturb anybody right now. So I think it's only our responsibility to do the best we can before we ever book an appointment.
Absolutely. Love that. Great point. Andree, anything to add to that?
She said it best.
I love it. So articulate. Cam, let's head over to you. What are you doing differently with buyers right now to, keep that amazing service and keep people safe?
Yeah, in the beginning, the Zoom virtual buyer consultations was an idea floating around. I did it. I didn't see great success with it, to be honest with you. And I think people have relaxed now. Like, I've done more in-person ones now since the beginning of COVID. But I'll bring, so stuff I will do, like I have gloves in the car for people. I'll tell them, when we go through the home, I'll open stuff. Like, don't worry about having to touch anything. To be honest, the notes I wrote down were more around, I find the stuff I'm doing differently is more around the hot market than it is around COVID, to be honest. So kind of what Bobbie was just saying there, like so people want to go see a house, doing more research to say, well, it's probably, okay, it's listed at 5, probably going to sell for 575. Like, do you like it at 575? Yeah, so just doing more research on the front end so you're not wasting your time. other ideas for hot market. I tried bully offers, moving quick on stuff. Something came up on Monday, I think, and we went and saw it and put an offer in that day because they weren't holding. And so I just said, let's just do it. Like, don't wait around. So we had a deal on it by 11 o'clock that night. So moving quick, trying bully offers, doing research. What else did I write down here? Oh, and something I've been reminded of, sorry, this isn't exactly on topic, but just the importance of having a good relationship when you're working with a buyer, have a good relationship with the listing agent. When it gets into competition, being on a friendly level with the agent can really help you out, tip the scales in your favor. So it was just a strong reminder for me to say, work really hard to make it easy for them, be good to them, make sure that they like you and they want your guys to get it. So that's what I'm doing.
Talking about that, Cam, to your point about the communication with the other realtor, but as well as over communicating with your buyers, like more than ever before. And I'm finding that with COVID, this is like the common denominator that it's affecting all of us. So it is so personal, and you are able to develop almost a deeper relationship quicker.
Yeah.
And even with those listing realtors, like you're having, everybody just became so much more human throughout all of this.
Totally.
Right. So you get a little bit of grace when you're sweeter to the listing realtors and showing your respect. Right.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it goes to buyers and sellers and agents too, right? Like, we're not in person anymore. We're not, doing the offer in person. We're seeing buyers in person, but before you take them out to see 10 houses, you got to know them. In my case, very often I'd be hugging them by the third time we go see houses, right? I'm a bit of a hugger, but shaking hands, that contact, right? And when I talk, you can't barely see because my hands are down here, but my hands are moving all the time, right? But you don't see that over the phone or by text or by email, right? So it is a little more work to develop that relationship with people, and you have to do it very consciously. I think I said that right.
Yeah, absolutely.
On purpose. It has to be on purpose.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You have to work differently at it than you're used to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm hearing from you guys so far, and I think this is going to feed a lot into the next question, which is same thing. How are you working differently with leads now? So not necessarily people you're in relationship with yet, not your clients, but leads. But what I'm hearing from you guys so far is, really qualifying every property before you show it, to know that if you're going to look at it, it's a very strong contender. We don't drive around and show 10 or 15 houses to people anymore. We're going, pretty ruthlessly checking things off the list. And if you're walking through that door, is that what I'm hearing from you guys?
Pretty much, yeah. Like, I think when I've been out, we've been going to see 1 or 2 properties. Like, hey, we're really interested in this one, and we do the research, and yeah, it looks like a good option. Let's go see it. I don't think I've been booking like five appointment showing trains kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Showing train, I like that. Get off the train, right?
Yeah.
And I also miss, when you're doing the 3 to 4 or 5 showings, I miss having them in my car, because that's also a time where we build that relationship, right?
Yeah.
Because we're shooting the shit. That's when you learn, pardon my language. Yeah, sorry. Ooh.
Being recorded.
Oh, fabulous.
I'll edit it later.
$25, isn't it?
How many?
25? Isn't it 25?
25?
Going up by the second.
I got to tell you though, that word is not a swear word in my house. If you want, I can do the real swear words if you want.
It's a grown up word, and we're all grown up.
Cost you a fortune.
Yes.
That's when you're really building the relationship with them, when you're in the car.
Yeah. So that's when you learn, like, one of the questions was, closing gifts and stuff too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's when you learn they hate cats, or they have 25 cats that they need to move with them, or, you get to learn about them a lot more when you can spend some non-dedicated time with them, right? Like when you're showing a house and you're trying to stay 6 feet away, and you're telling them, don't open the cupboards, I will, and all that kind of stuff. It's harder to build that relationship with them. even with your sellers, by the time you get to their house, you probably have a listing agreement signed.
Mhm.
So it's different. You don't get to know them as well as we used to.
Mhm. That being said, so, maybe the relationship on a personal level doesn't get quite as deep, but do you guys believe that the way that you're showing up with, okay, let's talk about buyers for a second, because we're in that kind of section, the qualifying that you're doing, the research you're doing ahead of time, the education you're giving, do you feel like that makes you look like that much more of a professional? I mean, that's how it would look to me, I
For
think.
sure. For sure. Like, it's like we've upped our game, but like Kim says, you're not doing so many showing trains and kicking tires. So on the one hand, you're not getting that actual time to develop the relationship. So you have to be way more intentional about it. So you're being more intentional about developing a relationship, but also doing all of your research and being prepared. And then it's like, like I said, like 6 or 8 showings, you're in competition. That's how it was in the very, very beginning anyway for us.
Yeah. The
Like,
reason,
I mean, still now, hopefully, like, I saw Brian Ellis the other day online saying that this property had 100 showings. I'm like, holy mackerel! I was going crazy with 50. Like, I don't even know if before in my career we've had 50. 50 showings. That's a long time to be homeless,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
Like, to find something to do. When
Hour,
nothing's
I'm
open.
This just dawned on me as we were talking. I don't know if anyone else would agree with this, but I've gone on way less appointments this year, listing appointments and buyer appointments, but had more success. And it just dawned on me that I guess it's because everyone that's doing something, inviting you to their home, wanting to buy, like, they're serious, they're motivated.
Right.
People aren't screwing around if they're not realistic about price or not qualified. So it just dawned on me that, it's actually been a fun year. It's been a good year, I've found, and maybe that's part of the reason why.
yeah. And so my last kind of, well, we're going to talk about leads, but I kind of want to skip to this because Cam's point really speaks to it. And it sounds like, Cam, what you're saying is people are so much more qualified. So how can you carry forward, even once this is over, digging to find those really qualified people instead of spending your time with unqualified people, right? To improve your ratios even more, right? So what are you guys doing right now? Qualification is one of them, it sounds like, that even once our world returns to normal and masks and gloves and hand sanitizer are a thing of the past, what are you going to be doing? What are you going to carry forward with you that you've started doing right now in your business that you're going to bring forward for your consumers, for their experience?
For me, it's taking more control. And we are the experts, and we don't need to do the showing train of like 5 houses today, another 6 tomorrow, and like just getting back to doing real estate instead of taxi service. That's for me anyway. I think it's maybe asking better questions and getting a better feel for what clients want, and setting the expectations that, you know what, you may actually fall in love with the first house you see. Let's be prepared, right? Because some people think they need to see 40 houses. I need for them to know that's not true.
Great point, Bobbie. Great point. And they won't know that unless you tell them.
Right. As an example, I took out some brand new buyers, never bought a house before, on Saturday, and they're ready. They've got all their pre-approvals. They found the first house we saw, they loved it. And she says, oh, I wish I hadn't seen this one today, maybe next week. I'm like, what do you mean? You're ready. You told me we've already had all those discussions. She says, oh, I can't buy the first house I see. I'm like, oh, the issue is going to be that none of the other houses you see are going to be as lovely as this one, because now the bar has been set.
That is the one that got away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
really educate them that it's okay. We've done all the research so that we only have to see one and fall in love with it.
Exactly.
That's the point.
Exactly.
Ethan, what about you? What are you going to do? Keep doing moving forward once we're kind of back to normal? Has been implemented recently.
Sorry, was that a question for me?
Yeah. So what are you going to do? What have you started doing?
Actually, I was just going to jump in there, because the thing, we just got to be very careful because, Yeah, I totally agree. We've got to be ask more questions, do more research, give more information, and be telling people a bit more what to do. I'm all for that, and I have to learn that still. At the same time, we've just got to remember that people buy homes on feeling.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a fact. It's emotional. It's an emotional purchase, and people basically have to sometimes get into a house before they know that that is the right home for them. And I've just had, I'm a bit of a rebel and at heart, and at 66, I guess I can choose to be a bit of a rebel. But I just had buyers that we're working with, and finished up showing them homes in Jordan Station, Stony Creek, Ancaster, Glanbrook, and Burlington. And guess what? They traveled in my car with me. And they were fine with it. So guess what? I was fine with it. But basically, they had to go through that process to help them to know where they were going to land. And it was only when we were focusing on one house that it came out that the feelings were that this location is not right for us. But if we hadn't gone through that process, they wouldn't have known that. If I'd just been saying, look, this house is so right, it's got good value, it's going to give you cash in your hand, in your pocket, which is what you wanted. And that was the Glanbrook property. It ticked all the boxes for them. Community center, one floor living, great space. It would give them probably $300,000-$400,000 cash in the pocket after the sale. They finished up buying back here in Burlington because it just did not feel right in Glanbrook. Mm-hmm. So we've got to remember that. So I agree with what everybody's saying, but at the same time, let us not be so narrow-minded. We say it's got to be this way because we'll finish up not serving our clients to the best of our ability or to what they need.
Yeah.
And
the balance, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. There is no right or wrong, and it's been said several times already. It's an individual case. You've got to get to know your people and understand them. And they're the ones that shocked me by saying they said, well, why weren't you driving your car? I'm totally fine with that, which is good. So I had to clean my car up. So my car got a good clean up for that job, which is good.
Priority.
Well,
I love that.
The other thing too is, this might sound hokey pokey, but I really believe that every house has an energy. And so does it click with yours? Right? So people say, oh, I walked into a house and I knew right away at the front door. That happens to a lot of people. And again, hokey pokey, maybe, but there is an energy there. And does it click with your energy? I think that's 100%.
Yeah. My phrase is it speaking to you? Mm-hmm. And if it's speaking positive, okay, let's stay. If it's speaking negative, let's get out of here. Let's move on.
Like falling in love, right?
Mm-hmm. And it has to click.
It does. And that's why these panel sessions, I feel like, are so helpful for all of us who are part of the panel and the people watching, because how Cam does it is going to be different than how Andree and Bobbie do it, and it's going to be different how Ian does it. So we get a very well-rounded kind of group of perspectives that Lynn or Maria or Nancy could kind of go, oh, well, that's kind of like me, and that's kind of like me, and then you can pull from it. And I think that's why this is so beneficial. So I'm so glad that you guys could be here today to share this and to share your insights on everything. I appreciate it. So let's head over to the participants here. Does anybody have any questions for our amazing panelists today about how they're keeping their clients safe? And I love that Andree said this, honoring themselves and their safety as well. Go ahead and either unmute yourself or type in the chat box, whichever you like.
While people are thinking about their question, I just wanted to add one thing to that. What are you going to do going forward? And I think it was Andree touched on this earlier, that this whole experience really humanized everybody, and you're working from home, kids are screaming in the background, dogs are barking, the veil kind of came down a little bit. We're all human. And I found what it gave for me is just more permission to have more fun and be like, okay, this is me and this is my personality. I had a mustache a while ago, you guys probably saw. And earlier in my career, I was probably too concerned with being professional and having the right answer and whatever. But I think for me, this has just said, you know what, let some more of your personality come through and have some fun with it. And I think people have been connecting with it. I've done way better on appointments this year. I don't think I've lost a listing appointment this year, actually. And I think it's because just the veils come down, the nerves have come down. I've just said, hey, this is me. This is what I have to offer. If you connect with it, great. Let's work together. And if not, that's okay too.
Not taking yourself so seriously.
Yeah, I'm just going to have some more fun. Work hard, but have fun.
Yeah. And sorry, go ahead.
Well, just to Kim's point, so the whole, you know, professionalism, I'm probably really old fashioned with the way I dress. Like I have a vision of what this realtor should dress like.
I'm a little more rock and roll.
So the other day I went out with jean capris and a white top to show some leases, and the listing agent showed up and he's like, so where's your realtor? I'm like, I'm the realtor.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'll never forget the time I was in competition against Cameron Sullivan, and he shows up to the presentation in a suit, and I was in yoga pants and a hoodie because I was last minute.
And who got it, Tenleigh?
Still won.
You showed up. You know, some people don't even bother to put lipstick and mascara on, sister. You showed up.
That's right.
Money talk.
I had lipstick and mascara on, just jeans, you know.
Yeah, that's why I lost my last deal. I didn't have my lipstick on.
You'll never
We can help you pick the right shade, for sure.
Yeah.
We'll never let it happen to you again, Ian, I promise. Okay, so again, if anybody wants to unmute themselves and ask any questions, now is your chance. Otherwise, we're going to wrap up. This has been so much fun. I've loved spending the time with everybody today. Thank you so much again for your willingness to share and to contribute to each other and to our viewers today. This is part of what makes our culture so special. So thank you guys for being here. And I appreciate everybody tuning in. I hope you all have a fabulous day.
Nice to see everybody.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
It's a little off topic. It's not the direct client care, just because I'm about to do it and we have some great people on the panel here. What are your guys' thoughts on door knocking at just sold?
I wouldn't door knock right now, personally. That's just me.
Okay, great.
I'm not comfortable enough to door knock for my own personal safety, but also I don't even answer my own door now. So if you haven't texted me that you're gonna drop something off to me, there's no reason for me to open my door. I mean,
Kim, has anyone done it? Like, have you had any resistance or any people like yelling at you?
I haven't done it. You might want to check with your broker record before you do it as well. She may have some advice there.
I can share quickly on that, Tricia. So in my neighborhood in Burlington, there was someone, I was walking my dog and someone was door knocking, and I think they were doing driveway paving. And I watched him go to 3 homes, and the backlash was just nasty. They just screamed at him. It was horrible. It was hard to watch. Poor guy. He just wanted to work, but they did not appreciate him being at their door.
Mm.
So
Well, I'll let you know. I'm going to do it.
Tricia, do a command campaign and get people's info and call them. That's what I would do.
Cam Sullivan for the win.
Okay, what's that? I am not near command. Me and computers don't like each other. So what's this?
Yeah, command. Just talk to Dylan in our office. He'll set you
You
up.
might have heard of it.
Yeah.
A command. What did you refer to it as? A command what?
Campaign.
Campaign. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, on that note, thank you guys again so much. I really appreciate it. Thanks for sharing your knowledge and wisdom. And I look so forward to seeing everybody in the office soon. Keep well, okay, gang?
You too. Ciao.
See
See
ya.
everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.